Tomorrow is Juneteenth Day. On June 19th, 1865, word made its way to Galveston, Texas, that enslaved African Americans were free.
They were told 2 years after President Lincoln had signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Ahead of this important day in our history, we're talking with influential African Americans here in Milwaukee about current issues. Here's Ryan Jenkins.
This is probably where you'd find 91-year-old James Beckum if it wasn't for the coronavirus pandemic, here at this park named after him back in 2013. For nearly 6 decades, he said this is a place where he's seen the power neighborly love can have in overcoming difficult times here in Milwaukee. In this era of uncertainty, we went to talk to James Beckum about everything from civil unrest in our community to the coronavirus and MLB postponing its season.
It's the first time I've ever seen that. I never seen that the major league shut down, you know.
Beckum is a former U.S. Marine turned Negro League Baseball Hall of Famer. He lived through times of segregation and civil unrest, and at age 91, he's nearly seen it all.
I think they have a right to protest a guy have his knee on somebody's neck. You know, that's his whole work. That should not happen.
Mr. Beckum is proud to see the protesters marching in the streets peacefully, but he's against any violence and looting.
I don't think the people who set up the protesting is doing any looting and violence. I don't think they can't up anything. That's somebody else doing that.
In addition to civil unrest, we also asked Mr. Beckum about the coronavirus, which has impacted his life's mission.
Every time you turn around, this virus is coming.
In 1964, after serving in the U.S. military during the Korean War and playing for the East St. Louis Giants, Mr. Beckum moved here to Milwaukee, where he started the Beckum-Stapleton Little League with the goal of keeping Milwaukee's kids off the streets.
A lot of kids have come through the ball and they have been successful themselves.
More than 25,000 kids have gone through his program, some growing up to become doctors, lawyers, and teachers.
When we first started Little League back in the 60s, it was hardship for us because we didn't have the kind of money and the kids didn't have the money.
Today, his Little League teams are facing a new challenge. The coronavirus is keeping his players off these fields. Games have been canceled, and his players are missing out on important mentorships and exercise.
This has created a lot of problems. And quite natural, we've got to try to overcome it. And I think we can.
While still holding on to hope that the Little League will make some kind of comeback this year, Mr. Beckum is also hopeful about the future of Milwaukee, saying in tough times, like when he lost his son to gun violence in 1993, or when his wife of nearly 6 decades passed away in 2015, it's always been members of the community who step up to volunteer when they're needed.
We are here to love one another, teach each other, and try to help one another.
At age 91 and waiting out this health crisis, Mr. Beckum is holding on to the exact values he's been teaching through baseball all these years. Reporting near James Beckum Park, Ryan Jenkins, TMJ4 News.
On Juneteenth Day tomorrow, we'll have stories of history, tradition, all day long, starting as early as 6 a.m.